Hello and welcome to Morris Park. I'm Clyde Morris. I just started this video a second ago and ended up the wind blowing over my camera. But anyhow, I've got this wild euphorbia here, this Euphorbia mammilaris, variagata, that's kind of getting out of hand on me. And it's kind of laying all over the place and taking up a lot of space, and so I like to conserve space in my greenhouse for other plants. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cage this euphorbia. As you see here, I've got some bamboo uprights in here. I would have showed you putting those in actually, except my camera blew over during the process. But anyhow, we grow our own bamboo here. And what I've done is I have some bamboo that I've had dried out for about a year. It's good and cured. And I've taken and stuck these into this pot, 5 different ones, around the circumference of this euphorbia. Now, what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to take these thin pieces here. And these thin pieces basically are just the branch side pieces off the bamboo plant. And these are green. These are fresh picked today. In fact, just a few minutes ago. And the reason I fresh picked them instead of letting them dry like the uprights is the fact that they're bendable. And they'll make that circle all the way around without breaking or splitting. So anyhow, I'm going to get started here. What we want to do is tie, and if I can keep it in my hands, is tie a piece of the yarn right around this bottom part. And I've left a little notch there, a little nub there from the leaves, so I could use it to tie this on and help steady it. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, now I'm going to take and tie it to one of these top areas here, top of the bamboo stick. Okay, tie that around, and then we're going to have to kind of tuck our euphorbia in here and there. And this thing is going to bleed. It's going to hurt it a little bit right at first because it's sticking itself with its own thorns there. Come around like this. Try to be careful with it. We'll try not to get any of these in front of my sticks. I'm going to kind of lift this up. It's kind of a tricky deal. And yes, after you're done with this, you'll want to wash your hands because you're going to be really involved with this plant. And you're probably going to get sap all over your hands. Get my little ends out here. I'm going to try to anchor this in to this other end. It might have been a little bit better to have a little bit more string on my yarn there. So I may have to put another piece on the end here to tie into. It's a little tedious. Whoops, like I said, a little tedious. Just go ahead and have to do this around again. Make sure you get them out of the way of your uprights there. Some of these you may have to just tuck in afterwards. I think I'm just going to do that. Okay. I'm Okay. You may want to leave some longer ends on your yarn. I cut them a little short. And I'm trying to get this in here. It's very tight. My old fingers don't bend around as well as they used to. Okay. I've got this first one tied in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 more around here and help hold this in. And I'm going to tie off to each one of these. But I'm not going to bore you with all that. I'm going to come back and I'll have that part done and show you. Now, as you see, I've got them all bundled up now and got my deals in place. Now all I got to do is tie off each one of these in place, and that'll kind of keep things together. And then go ahead and try to part these out and rearrange them a little bit, give them each a little bit of room. I know it's going to be kind of stuffy in there a little bit, but they will grow up and out of it for sure. And I'll get these tied off and then we'll come back. Now I've got these all tied up here, as you can see. I'm going to need to trim off some of the excess ties here. Now, as far as the string goes, we'll just go like this and trim a lot of those off. Pays to have a sharp knife. Cut all these off. Okay, now I'm going to trim off this excess bamboo here. Clean that up a little bit. So that isn't sticking out so much. Now, what I'm going to do is take and tie off some of these individual pieces off to the cage so that it isn't just flopping into itself and it gives a little more room to the outside. And I'll do that and I'll be back. Okay, I got it caged up now. We'll clear this yarn out of the way. But in doing this, inevitably there's some sap here, right in here, and a few other places where it's bleeding because of handling this. Just handling these euphorbias, just rubbing them, can do this. Now something else I'm going to do here, I'll be trimming this string off. Not let that hang, but I'll take this mister here, and this will get rid of that euphorbia sap and wash it off. Help it heal better, and it won't look so bad when it dries up. That stuff will just kind of dry up and get crusty on there. I'm going to kind of wash that off. See, I'm not going to water this plant for about 2 weeks because sliding those bamboo posts here down into the pot may have damaged a few roots on the edges of the pot. So I'm going to keep it dry for about a week or so, maybe 2. And then I'll go ahead and start watering again. Pretty soon it's going to be all time to dry everything out, being that we're getting into fall. I'm just going to cut some of this extra strings off here. Look a little better. There's probably a couple others here. Right here. Okay, it's all in place now. I've got a lot of these separated out to where the center ones can grow out now. This is looking pretty good. Okay, so here it is. I've got it all put up in its little bamboo cage. Got all the sap washed off of it. Looking pretty good. You can see how I've tied that onto those little posts around it. But this gives quite a bit more room, because this guy was just going all over the place and taking quite a bit of room. Room I could have for other plants to be next to it. This was in like a big hanging table I've got with a whole bunch of other euphorbias and cacti on it. And it was kind of growing over them. So to give everybody some room, I cage this guy up. And it ought to do pretty good now. I do this a lot with my mammilaris when they go turning into a wild caterpillar, as some mammilarias will do. But yeah, that ought to take care of that. That's caging your wild Euphorbia mammilaris. And this can be done with other succulents too. And kind of keep them upright and not growing just into everything. It works real well for my mammilarias. This is my first Euphorbia mammilaris that I've ever done. And I think it'll do quite well. Now, before I go, I want to show you something else. Now, if you remember a couple weeks ago when I had my convergence videos on, I showed you this wild euphorbia. This is Euphorbia dentata. And if you look at this euphorbia, look at the seed pods all over it. The seed pods look exactly the same as our succulent euphorbias. Isn't that amazing? Three-sided seed pods. Exactly the same as our succulent euphorbias that we love, that come from South Africa and Madagascar and Southern Asia. All in the same genus. So your euphorbias are kind of strange. They can be this annual weed, and this plant will die here come winter. It'll shed its seeds and it'll die, and it'll come back from its seeds. It's not a perennial such as the euphorbias we know and love so much. But a very curious thing, that our succulent euphorbias are directly in the same genus, not just the same family, but the same genus as this plant you're seeing here. Now, this is another weedy euphorbia, and the name actually slips me right now. I can't remember, but it grows quite common here in Missouri. It's kind of an upright euphorbia, looking much like maculata, except upright. And there you see the little seed pods there. Same as what I just showed you. Same as our succulent euphorbias. Quite amazing. Another little annual weed from the Ozarks, related to our big cactiform and succulent euphorbias. Same genus. Amazing. Well, I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we'll call it a day. Now, yesterday, Deb and I went to a very large swap meet that was held up in Lebanon, Missouri, at the Civic Center, and there was just literally loads and loads and loads of vendors with all kinds of things. When I first walked in, a young man was selling some cactus and succulents. And I haven't repotted any of these yet. These are as they came. And this is only $5. It's a nice Echinopsis with lots of offsets. Very healthy. And I thought I would get that for $5. That was a deal. And then another vendor, who was actually a plant vendor I've seen before at farmers markets and so forth within the area, had this. And this is something I've wanted for a while. I haven't had one of these since my greenhouse froze some years back. This is a mellow cactus. It hasn't got the cephalium yet. You can see it's a very healthy plant. It's got a couple little places, little scars on it where it's suffered some damage in transit. Very nice plant. She had like 15% off on this, so it was like $12 for this one. Great deal. Very nice plant. Can't wait till it gets its cephalium. Very nice. Then later on, we were out getting our errands done and getting our groceries and some home improvement stuff. We stopped by Lowe's Home Improvement Center, and I found this. This is an Adenium obesum. I have a couple of these, but this was a very good deal. Really nice large caudex on it. Good looking plant. And I think with tax and everything, it came out to be about $15. You don't usually see them this nice. And it's been a while since I've seen any adeniums sold out anywhere around here. Usually you have to order them off the TV or online or something like that. But a real nice plant. So yeah, that was a nice little plant day, I'll have to say. Yeah, Melocactus, Echinopsis, and a real nice adenium. Okay, folks, well, this is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And me caging my wild Euphorbia mammilaris, variagata. This is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. Hope you all have a great day. Take care.